Good evening, my Real News Midday TV family. Welcome back to the channel for another news update for February 7, 2024. And in the news this evening, PNP says hospitalized candidate expected to be well for nomination day. The People's National Party is expressing confidence that Oliver Reid, its council candidate for the Little London division in Western Westmoreland, will be nominated tomorrow, even though he is currently hospitalized. Confirmation of his hospitalization has come from the party's regional leadership. The man is suffering from dehydration and he will come out of the hospital later this evening, based on what I understand, Ian Hales, the PNP's vice president, told the news. Reid is scheduled to be nominated tomorrow at the Grange Hill Anglican Church in the parish. Colin Hitchman, the party's Region 6 chairman, is expressing confidence that Reid will be nominated as planned. He is okay now. He will be up and about tomorrow and he will be duly nominated tomorrow, Hitchman said. Reid is expected to face off with Savannah Lamar's incumbent Deputy Mayor Ian Miles, who is running on the Jamaica Labour Party ticket in the February 26 local government election. Cops injured in Trelawney crash. 4 cops attached to the Trelawney police escaped with only minor injuries following a vehicular crash along the Duncans to Falmouth Main Road in the parish on Wednesday. Corporal Kirkland Cross of the Traffic Department told the news that the officers were heading to Falmouth around 7 a.m. when the vehicle picked up a skid and overturned. He said that the officers were taken to hospital for observation. Man gets 3 months in prison for escaping police custody. A man who escaped police custody to attend his mother's funeral was sentenced to 3 months imprisonment when he appeared in the St. Catherine Parish Court on Tuesday. He is 50-year-old Horace Clark of McVickers Lane, Spanish Town, St. Catherine. On Tuesday, attorney Denise Hinson submitted to the court that a non-custodial sentence would be appropriate for Clark as her client attended his mother's funeral and returned to the police. Parish Court Judge Janelle Nelson Gale told the defense that she would be going against the sentencing guidelines if Clark was not incarcerated. The judge advised that the maximum is 2 years imprisonment, but given his age and the lawyer's submission, Clark would benefit from a reduction. Clark was arrested on January 6 on a warrant for an expired motor vehicle certificate of fitness. While at the police station, he declared that his mother had died and he needed to attend her funeral. He later asked her to use the bathroom and ran out of the station compound. St. Catherine judge orders release of man held in custody without a charge. A St. Catherine judge today ordered the release of a man who has been in custody since February 2 without a charge on allegations of harboring a fugitive. Parish Court Judge Janelle Nelson Gale upheld an application by attorney Donald Bryan on behalf of Yachidea Brown. Bryan argued that the new Bail Act makes it clear that a person must not be held beyond 48 hours without being charged. He further argued that the police are duty-bound to act. The judge agreed and granted an application for the unconditional release of Brown. U.S. defends the latest travel advisory for Jamaica. Washington has defended its latest travel advisory for Jamaica, saying the safety of its citizens is its first priority and it is obligated to provide information to them. The U.S. Embassy in Kingston, in a post on its social media pages, said that the advisory, which was updated on January 23, was not timed with any other issue. Since the update to the advisory, Minister of Foreign Affairs Kamina Johnson-Smith has held talks with U.S. officials amid what she described as Jamaica's concerns over the scope and extent of the advisory by Washington to Americans who intended to visit the island. This week, Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Audrey Marks, also called for the Consular Affairs Bureau of the U.S. State Department to rescind or modify its travel advisory for the country. She said Jamaica does not experience other crimes found in jurisdictions designated at Level 3. However, the embassy noted that the level of our travel advisory did not change with the update and has remained at Level 3, the same level it has been since March 2022. It also said the release contained an analytical update on medical services in Jamaica. The update incorporated analysis of incidents, illnesses, and the deaths of U.S. citizens based on a review of health services and the medical care received when U.S. citizens are hospitalized, it said. Westmoreland is 17-year-old charged for stabbing and shooting man at his home. A 17-year-old Westmoreland boy has been charged in connection with the stabbing and the shooting of a man at his home in Chantilly Gardens, Savannah, Lamar. He was charged on Monday with wounding with intent, possession of a prohibited weapon, and using a firearm to commit a felony. His court date is being finalized. The police say he joins a 20-year-old Deshaun Bell, who is also of the Chantilly Gardens community, who was previously charged. They reported that about 10 p.m. on Monday, January 22, a man was at home when he was approached by the teenager and Bell. According to the police, they inflicted several stab wounds to the man's head, and when he made an attempt to escape his attackers, he was shot in the arm. The man was assisted to hospital where he was treated. The teen was later apprehended at his home. The charges were laid against him on Monday, February 5, after he was pointed out on an identification parade. NIA accuses government of ignoring good sense in merging political ombudsman's role with that of Electoral Commission. National Integrity Action has accused the government of ignoring good sense by lumping the role of the political ombudsman with that of the Electoral Commission. The act to amend the Political Ombudsman Interim Act was passed in the House of Representatives on Tuesday. Opposition leader Mark Golding had argued that this would change the independent nature of the ECJ. Executive Director of NIA, Daniel Archer, responding to the news, complained that the current administration has consistently used its majority to ram through laws without due consideration. She said there should have been more discussion on this consequential move.
There has been much outcry about the bill. There has been outcry about how you're going about it and why you're doing it. And basically, to my mind, what they have essentially said is, we're not caring about the hoopla that you are talking about. This has been said from how long, and this is what we're doing. And it's a contrast, because it was a part of the discussions and part of the bill itself for the ombudsman, that the office of the political ombudsman would have been secured by the Constitution. That was passed many years ago too, and that has been ignored on the eve of an election. It gives one pause to ask, what's the rush all of a sudden? This has been there before. You knew you were going to be calling a local government election, no pun intended, and you've decided on the eve that this is what you're going to do. And you're doing it in a context where you're not only imposing it on a body that, as far as it appears, does have political appointees, wherein which the office of the political ombudsman is not within the context of what it's required to do, deemed to be a representative of a political party that's there. And I think that makes a difference.
Jamaican state threatened by crime and violence, says Prime Minister. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has acknowledged that the Jamaican state could collapse due to crime and violence if legislation is not implemented to cauterize the issue. Mr. Holness said his administration has changed its policy approach to legislation and has made significant allocations to national security and has reaped results. He added that Jamaicans do not see crime and violence as a major threat to the country's existence.
We don't see things through the lens of a threat to the existence of the state. We believe that the Jamaican state will always exist. It is a thinking that has pervaded many of the other independent arms of government. Every day I see how the Jamaican state could collapse from this business of crime and violence because we are not taking a national security prism to the problem. So we have to change the legislation to create this understanding that gangs, violence and crime are a threat to the existence of the Jamaican state. We see it as a street level problem. Oh, it's a Spanish Town problem. Oh, it's a Montego Bay problem. Oh, it's a problem in Clarendon. Oh, it's a problem with gangs in central Kingston. And whilst they may not be acting politically, they don't want to run the state, so they are not terrorists in the classic sense. But what they want to do is to weaken the state so that the economic benefit of their enterprise can grow. But we are here being pitiful at a street-level youngster who has a gun, because all we see is a street-level youngster with a gun, not recognizing that he is the tip of the iceberg, the tip of the spear of the threat to our safety and security. He's the one that will pierce our veil of security.